Locus here, and here's my review of Makai Kado Giru from Tamashii Nations and Bandai. So this figure is a Tamashii web exclusive figure, and with that being said, so of course it came with a brown mailer box right here that contains this packaging that contains this figure. So yeah, but in most or in some cases, when you order exclusive figures from Bandai, sometimes it doesn't came with a brown mailer box, so I'm not really sure what's up with that. But you know, I'm glad I was able to purchase with brown mailer box. It's kind of a huge deal for me. Anyway, so here's the figure. Here's Giru. By the way, the figure is being served with the two trays. So the one that contains the figure and the weapons, and the base for, or the stand for this prop right here, and then the second tray also contains the alternate hands of the figure. And of course, it came with the manual, as you can see here. So it's pretty much basic. It's just an instruction on how to place the sword or the prop with the stand on it. So you may not be able to use that as much, because you'll know that easily. So for the figure, it stands at least 7-inch tall. A couple of inches shy from 7 to 8 inch. As you can see here, we do have a DC collectible Batman figure. There you go. And we do have here a Black Series from Hasbro, Star Wars 6-inch Stormtrooper figure. And we do have here a Hasbro Marvel Legends from the 2-pack that came with Warpath. We do have here Deadpool figure. So just for to compare it. So about the figure and the details and articulation. So for the head, which is focused here, right here. There you go. So before, when they started this line, they used to have a translucent plastic being used on the eye, but now they are using vibrant plastic, well painted. So you can see, so it's still nice, but you know, it would still look awesome if they used a translucent plastic. Anyway, so here's the range of motion of the head. It can look upward, well, downward not much, but I think the neck can help you with that. As you can see, so it has a good range of motion on the neck right there because it's on a ball joint. The head can tilt. Alright, so the head can turn. Alright. Then for this one, the mouth opens. So this is one of the Makai Kado figure that I ever owned that can open this mouth this wide. But the only gripe that I have is that when doing so, the hinge on the mouth is really visible, so it's a little bit annoying to see. As you can see, the hinge is well visible. Like they could have added some other details, like, you know, tongue or some mouth details. But anyway, so decent range of motion on the head. For this part, it's made out of soft plastic, but you should still be careful that you might break the entire horn. Right. And then for the shoulder pads, like the 10th anniversary one, it has an independent joint right here. 10th anniversary Giru. I believe I did a review of that on my Facebook page, so just check it out. The link is on the description below. Anyway, so it moves independently, so it won't hinder the range of motion. Right, it kind of feels like it's on a ball joint, as you can see. So there's no joint right here, so it's just right at the back. It has a very nice sculpting, color scheme, and all that, so this is no longer a surprise to me. And then, aside from the first shoulder pad, the other one here moves. Right. So, it's on a ball joint right there on a hinge. So, expect a good range of motion right there. It has a bicep swivel and a double hinge. A double hinge elbow, as you can see. Alright. Now the wrist, as you can see here, is on a ball joint. Let me just focus the camera. Focus. There you go. So it's on a ball joint right there, as you can see. You just need to be careful because of this detailing on the hand. Alright. There. So on the upper body here, it has a good range of motion also. It can tilt. Right. It can move backward that far. It can get stuck. Yeah. There you go. And move downward like that. So pretty much for me, it's good enough for me. If you'll ask if there's any die-cast part, honestly, I really can't feel any die-cast part here. Probably just hard plastic. And I think let's just give up on the die-cast part. I don't think that they would ever include that on their figures anymore. Not just in Makai Kado, but also in Super Imaginative Chogokin. Probably movie realization and Shogeki Kado. So let's just give up with the die-cast part because I don't think that they would ever add that again on their figures. Now, if you have checked my Shogeki Kado Hikari Bito Go review, I mentioned that the one of the gripes that I had was the shoulder, the hip detailing here. But this is something that I would want them to do with that figure. They could have added a peg joint on a hinge right there, as you can see with this figure. It kind of swivels a bit. It has a good range of motion, so it won't hinder much of the rest of the leg. It does the same at the back, but due to the detailing right here, it only moves. It only has a very not much of, doesn't move that much. But it's not really a huge deal for me. Probably to some it may be, but it's not really a huge deal. Now for the legs. Alright, so you can pull off the leg. Check out the articulation here. The joint being used is pretty damn dark. Sorry if you can see it. As you can see, so it's on a ball joint and there's a hinge right there. At first you thought that you just need to when this happens, you accidentally pull off the leg. Okay. You can just put it right back in, then wait for a locking sound to tighten or to securely tighten the joint right there, so the leg won't pull off. Right. For my figure, unfortunately, I think it has a very limited range of motion when doing the split, as you can see. So not much of a split. Not a huge deal for me again, but probably to some it may be. The legs can raise that far. It has a double hinge knee articulation. Right. It has a thigh swivel. Right. Now the feet is on a hinge right there, and then there's another hinge right here, so it can have a decent range of motion. At the same time, it has like a, what they normally call as a ankle pivot. As you can see, it can move. So articulation wise, I would say it's possible for my part, so I don't have really much of a complaint here. It doesn't have a foot articulation, unfortunately. So check out the rest of the detailing of the figure. Focus, there we go. So this one is covered in a translucent plastic. That's why it looks like that. So yeah. So this is a very nice figure. I really like it a lot. And I hope the Bandai would release the Raiga version of Giru, so we can finally complete, you know, the entire characters from the series. Alright. So for the accessories of the figure, it falls off. Here's a sword of the figure. Unfortunately, it's not made out of die cast, so, but it has a very nice detailing. It kind of feels solid, but you still need to be careful. You might, you know, you always need to be careful with these kind of toys. So yeah, so in order for you to attach or wield this weapon, you can just pull off this handle, as you can see. So there's a slot right there, so you can just simply put it, you know, the way you want it. You just need to follow the grooves of this thing. See? So you just need to insert it correctly. Now for the hands, sorry. So for the hands of the figure, you can see here. So we do have 2 open splayed hands and 2 weapon wielding hand. There you go. Focus. So again, you just need to be careful with this part, you know, especially when doing like a certain pose that you might break this one. But there is a smaller chance that it can happen because the tip are made out of soft plastic, as you can see, like that. So here's the prop that came with the figure, but I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna, let me just get this down, use this one. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use this one, but I haven't thought of any concept yet. But here's the base, so you just need to place it right there, just like that. So that simple. So overall, the figure is really great. So I highly recommend it. if you like the entire Giru franchise, or if you just like a figure with awesome details and design, then I would really suggest to purchase this figure and other figures under the Makai Kado line. They are really a dope figures to have. So please subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching my review of this figure. Later.